Welcome to WMDO's series of courses on U.S. bioresearch monitoring training. We're going to focus specifically on the responsibilities of the sponsor of a clinical study with an investigational medical device in the United States. We're also going to focus on the areas which the U.S. FDA will review during a bioresearch monitoring visit, and this visit would be specific to the sponsor's location. This will not cover the clinical sites themselves. This will be covered in a separate training course. The training objectives of this course will cover the overall responsibilities of the sponsor and the areas the U.S. FDA will focus on. It will discuss the regulatory pathways in which human clinical research involving an investigational medical device is obtained. The device area we're going to cover also includes those combination products that are designated as devices. We'll also briefly discuss how the harmonized European standard, ISO 14155, relates to the U.S. FDA BIMO program. We'll then move into how clinical sites that are located outside of the United States must comply with these U.S. FDA regulations. We'll then start diving into more detail on how the U.S. FDA initiates and assigns bioresearch monitoring investigation assignments, and then we'll move into discussing the detailed areas that the U.S. FDA investigator will focus on at the sponsor's location. These areas cover three broad topics. We'll spend the most time on study management. We'll discuss the clinical study documentation and the control of that documentation within the study. It will cover how the sponsor will be required to manage all of their clinical study sites to assure compliance with U.S. FDA regulations. It will discuss the control of the investigational device, and this control is not only the control of the finished investigational device during the clinical study, but we are going to talk about what the U.S. FDA will expect with any changes to the design, manufacturing, or labeling of that product, and the subsequent IDE supplements that are required. We'll then go into what the U.S. FDA will focus on with regard to the ongoing conduct of the study, the collection of the data, and the review of the patient safety profile within that study to ensure that the sponsor is keeping the appropriate balance between safety and benefit, or risk and benefit, during the study. Lastly, we'll discuss how the U.S. FDA audits third parties and their relationship to the sponsor of the study. We'll wrap up this discussion on the BIMO audit execution with the review of FDA expectations with regulatory submissions that should be filed during the course of the study and how they perform data integrity audits to ensure the accuracy and completeness of clinical study reporting. We'll then conclude this course on how the U.S. FDA takes all of the audit findings, reviews them, classifies them with the appropriate follow-up from the agency, and how that's communicated to the sponsor, and how the sponsor should deal with the management of the U.S. FDA response, as well as any other outcomes of the audit. We'll touch upon the importance of how this is managed and how it relates to the public response or the effect on the company's reputation.